Family, today I want to talk about a question from the book of Jeremiah. Is there no balm in Gilead? This question is just as powerful today as it was thousands of years ago.
Jesus, Jesus, Jesus.
In Jeremiah 8:22, is there no balm in Gilead? Is there no physician there? Why then is there no healing for the wound of my people?
What about your sins, brother?
Absolutely.
You can't judge nobody for their sins if you sin it, motherfucker.
I love you, man.
You a
I don't hate
sinner
you.
and a sinner.
I love
How
you.
can you be a winner if
I
you're
love
a
you in
sinner?
Jesus' name.
Other niggas that did you did.
This whole entire time I've been talking about myself. I love you, man. I love you. I love you. I don't hate you. I love you. That's why I'm here. I'm speaking about this man here who hated God and wanted nothing to do with
I
it.
believe in God,
But
brother.
God, no, I'm telling you about me. But I hated God. But God set me free. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. Excuse me. Forgive me. I'm gonna bump you guys. Have a blessed day. Have a blessed day. But God is good, my friends. And that's why we're here. To lift up his name and lift him high, preaching the gospel. Jesus Christ can set you free as he did with me. I was an alcoholic. This is who Elias was. I was seeking one thing to my life.
How is it somebody gets shot and your first thought is to go loot his tent? I've never seen some shit like this before.
Let me out. Hey, yo, let me out. Come on, guys. Come on. Come on, guys. I don't know. Let's go. I have no idea. Come on, guys. What are you doing? Get the fuck out.
How is someone that disconnected from society that their first thought is to go loot the guy who just got shot? Let alone the people that were sitting on the train while that Ukrainian girl got stabbed in the neck. Nobody jumped up to help her. Everyone feels so disconnected from each other in
Why
America.
can't I exist as my true self right now?
That's not your true self. That's why.
This! You don't think this is my true fucking self? What the fuck is your true self? You fucking ignorant piece of shit! Is your true self being a little fucking pussy who's shorter and feels insecure about how they are? What? Oh, you don't like coming into people's spaces and getting them uncomfortable for being their true self? You don't like when people fucking do that to you? Then fucking learn and do that somewhere else and stop coming here, you fucking piece of shit!
Alright, man. I love you.
I'm not a fucking man, and you don't love me. If you loved me, you would put this fucking sign down. You would go walk, and you would thank everyone for being here authentically, as opposed to telling them with your fuckhead sign that they need to fucking convert and no longer exist. Stop fucking ruining pride for fucking everyone!
Yeah, you better than me, bro. Anyone that looks at this, right, though, and sees this as normal behavior, sees this as a rational person that needs defended and that needs protected, that's a marginalized group, you've lost your mind. The only interpretation of this man is demonic possession, MK Ultra mind control. Like, that's the only logical conclusion you can make about this demon. Some advice I can give you when a demon is manifesting right in your presence is you need to start saying, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus, and not just sitting there and take it. You better, bro. Less some fat pig like that get all up in my face. Let that happen, bro. I'm getting physical. Especially if all I'm doing is spreading the good word, and you're good. I know his breath was crazy. Nah, bro. Nah, bro. I don't think I'm not called to do this yet. I don't have the patience or the restraint to do something like this and not go to jail. So I'm gonna keep on making my videos until I grow to a place spiritually where I can have these confrontations IRL and it doesn't go sideways. Cause if somebody touches me, bro, if somebody gets so close to my face I can feel their saliva hitting me, absolutely not. I'm too civil, bro. I'm too civil so that when that disrespect enters my For You page, like IRL, I don't know how to react, bro. I don't know what I would do.
Well, this sucks. The occult shot Charlie Kirk today. 9/10/2025 equals 19 equals 41, which is 5. And why did they do it? Because they're trying to start a civil war in the United States, right? Oh, a liberal did it, a liberal did it, a liberal did it. No, the occult did it. Just like they shot JFK, just like they shot Abe Lincoln, just like they shoot everybody who gets in their way. Maybe now you'll sign the Full Disclosure Act so we can expose the occult in our government. Anyhow, RIP to Charlie Kirk, and God bless his family. Yeah, wake up, people. Wake the fuck up to the occult that rules your world.
Back then, the Balm of Gilead was a rare healing ointment. People knew if you had a wound, this balm could help bring recovery. But Jeremiah wasn't talking about just physical wounds. He was also talking about the deep spiritual sickness of God's people. They were hurting, broken, and far from God. And Jeremiah wept, asking, why aren't my people healed when the cure is available? Now here's the truth. The balm is not the people. The congregation is not the healing. The true balm is God Himself, fully revealed in Jesus Christ. The congregation may apply the balm by practicing the gospel and preaching it, loving everyone and anyone who wants to know Christ and be healed, loving one another and pointing the hurt that they feel, that you feel, towards Jesus. But we are not the medicine. We are the patients. Only Christ is the great physician.
For those of you who took the shot, for those who took the shot, and for those who are contemplating taking the shot, you were promoted to. The FDA classifies a vaccine as a drug, right? Yes, sir. So you were promoted to through a drug. So people became drug pushers without knowing it. Every celebrity, every politician who got up there talking about, hey, I took it, you should take it too. You are a dope dealer. Sir, ma'am. You were promoted to, you were told it was safe, you were told it was effective. But let me go ahead and bring up Mr. Fauci.
Oh, here we go. Let's get it.
Y'all don't like him. Y'all don't like him.
I felt some heat out here.
Mr. Fauci, you made the statement that none of these shots will prevent transmission. You also stated that none of these shots will prevent you from getting the virus. So you're telling the people to take a shot that will not prevent you from getting the virus and that will not prevent you from transmitting the virus if you do get it. So my question to you, Mr. Fauci, is what the hell are we taking? What will be the purpose, guys? The ultimate agenda is two things. One, profit, which we all know is the pharmaceutical companies and agencies' middle name. The word pharmaceutical comes from the Greek word pharmakia, which is in the Bible. Pharmakia means sorcery and or witchcraft. So when we are fighting against the pharmaceutical evil, not every employee is evil, but the system itself, the sorcery and witchcraft, is what we are fighting against. Does that make sense? I'm saying this last point here, which is you are now and have been experimented on. Number one. Number two, the medical professionals, those of you who did not do your due diligence to really dig, and you just listen to fraud sheet, you are being experimented on. I'm sorry to tell you this. The Johnson & Johnson shot has aborted fetal tissue from aborted babies from the retina as well as the kidney cells. Johnson & Johnson, you plan too much. Johnson & Johnson, you had over 25,000 cases of cancer, racking up to over $4 billion of lawsuits. Why should we trust you when you can't even get talcum powder right? Why should we trust Moderna, the youngest one in the group? Ain't never created no vaccine, and this is not even a vaccine. How can we get, do we trust? These some gangsters, man. Y'all gotta understand this. We are getting banged on by institutions.
Say that.
At high levels. So we ain't got nothing on them.
I am Chief Warrant Officer 2, Duncan J. Searcy. The intended audience of this video is Congress, and I claim whistleblower status in accordance with Title 10, U.S. Code 1034. I understand that making this video in my uniform is a very serious decision. For the past 4 years, I have tried to rectify my situation the correct way through my chain of command. I have submitted an Inspector General complaint. I have attempted resolution through my Congressman, Burgess Owens. I have lost faith in my entire chain of command, including the Adjutant General Boyack, who has lied on an official memorandum sent to my Congressman. My Commander-in-Chief, Governor Cox, who signed off on the COVID-19 policies in 2021 for which my career is being destroyed, currently stands accused of election interference by his opponent, Phil Lyman. This video is not intended to be insubordinate, but I am demanding accountability from my leaders. I joined the military in 2017 and became an Apache pilot for the Utah Army National Guard. I deployed with my unit to Afghanistan in 2020. Shortly after returning home, all soldiers in the military were ordered to take an EUA, Emergency Use Authorization, COVID-19 vaccine. As mandating experimental treatments goes against Title 10, U.S. Code 1107, I simply refused the order. They attempted coercion, bribery, and threats to try to get me to take it. In April of 2021, I was grounded and no longer allowed to fly. I also refused to participate in the EUA COVID-19 testing, so then they shut off my pay and took away my benefits. I was required to miss my civilian employment and drill with my unit with no pay on multiple occasions as ordered by Colonel Noe Vasquez, which caused me even greater financial hardship. I defaulted on my military retirement loan because I no longer had the funds to pay what I owed. I was forced to drop out of my local university where I was studying to become a pilot for the airlines because they turned off my educational benefits. Around this time, I was also going through a devastating separation and divorce with my spouse. My mental health and finances were a mess, and I was forced to move myself and my 2 small children into my parents' unfinished basement, where we still reside today. At a time when I needed my brotherhood for support, I was ostracized, labeled, and discarded. And no, I'm not starting a GoFundMe. My pride doesn't allow for me to accept charity. I will make my own way. What I want is a pound of flesh. I want accountability. The vaccine mandate for military members was correctly rescinded, and because they could no longer kick me out of the military for that, they shifted their focus to kick me out for mental health issues instead. But my individual situation within the military is just a small symptom of a big sickness that affects all of us. We are currently ruled by a cabal or ruling class that consists of greedy executives, woke generals, corrupt politicians, and satanic celebrities. Their goal is to constantly pit us against one another based upon our skin color, our religion, our class status, and our politics, all for their gain. They create false flags to send your children to foreign countries to die for profit. They poison our food, water, and medicine for population control. They slowly whittle away at our basic God-given rights. They distract us with music, movies, and fashion to rot our brains. And they hate us. They see us as cattle. Dumb, disgusting, easily controlled, but useful. Personally, I am fed up, and I'm asking my people, the American people, to rise up with me within the bounds of the law and take back our country, our security, our economy, and our American dream. And if our politicians stand in our way, we will remove them and elect new ones to fight for us. The answer is not murdering CEOs on the street. Our system may be broken, but it can be rebuilt peacefully if we work together. Your party cannot save you. Both sides are used by this elite class. We should all brace for terror attacks, mass shootings, technology failure, and economic collapse. The ruling class will not go down without playing every card they have left in their arsenal to retain control. I want to close with a special message to my brothers and sisters in arms. I am disappointed in you. And remember, just because I speak sharp words against you, it does not mean that I do not love you. 96% of you participated in the EUA COVID vaccine, and I know less than half of you did it willingly. They lied to you, they threatened you, they coerced you. None of you got an FDA-approved vaccine in 2021. It did not exist, and for that you should be furious. I'll agree with you that this is a situation that your leaders never should have put you in. You were just trying to be a good soldier and follow orders. But there is a powerful quote from the movie Kingdom of Heaven that I love. King Baldwin says, "Remember that even when those who move you be kings or men of power, your soul is in your keeping alone. When you stand before God, you cannot say, 'But I was told by others to do thus,' or that virtue was not convenient at the time. This will not suffice."
None of us know our end, really, or what hand will guide us there. King may move a man, a father may claim a son. That man can also move himself, and only then does that man truly begin his own game. Remember that howsoever you are played, or by whom, your soul is in your keeping alone. Even though those who presume to play you be kings or men of power, when you stand before God, you cannot say, "But I was told by others to do thus," or that virtue was not convenient at the time. This will not suffice. Remember that.
Your oath is to the Constitution of the United States of America, the law of the land. You swore that oath to God, so you will answer to him for it. I, Chief Warrant Officer 2 Duncan Jesse Searcy, do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office on which I am about to enter. So help me God.
I don't know how long this video is going to stay up. I might delete it later, but I used to work at Plum Island, Lab 257. Yep, that Lab 257. They told us it was animal research, just livestock stuff. Studying diseases to protect the food supply. That's how they always frame it, make it sound like we're doing something good. But the things I saw in that lab, the experiments, it wasn't about animals. It wasn't ever just about animals. First red flag, most of the people I work with either didn't ask questions or knew not to. Those who did ask too much, let's just say they didn't stay around for too long. Contracts pulled, cleared out like they never existed. We get shipments in the middle of the night, no labels, no records. I'm talking live animals, sometimes already mutated. Sometimes they weren't even species that we have names for. And I know that sounds crazy, but I've seen things that look like they weren't even from this planet. Hybrid creatures like something out of a movie. We weren't just testing viruses, we were engineering them. Modifying bacteria, adding genetic sequences that shouldn't even be compatible with human DNA. At one point, I was assigned to a project that involved ticks. Yep, those ticks. We were told it was a control study to understand how disease spreads, but what we really were doing was testing how to make the virus spread easier, more contagious, more invisible. A few months later, the first Lyme disease cases popped up across the water in Connecticut just out of nowhere. Coincidence? Sure. Then there were the containment breaches. We weren't allowed to say the word leak. If something got out, we call it a displacement. You see a mutated deer foaming at the mouth on the shoreline, that's a displacement. You see some wild creature unalive looking like it got stitched together from 4 different animals, displacement. They always had an explanation, always just enough to keep you paranoid but not empowered. That's how they keep you quiet. I shouldn't be saying any of this. I've already seen 2 people disappear after talking too much. Plum Island wasn't just some animal lab, it was a test site, a lab rat farm. And the real test subject, they never stayed on that island, said an alleged whistleblower of Plum Island. If stories like this interest you, be sure to give me a follow because I enjoy having these type of discussions.
Why is there a government island off New York that you're never allowed to visit? Plum Island, an 840-acre biological weapons fortress in Long Island Sound called the Area 51 of the East Coast, accessible only by government ferry with armed security. Since 1954, they've studied deadly animal diseases in 70 buildings, including foot and mouth disease that could destroy America's $100 billion livestock industry. During the Cold War, they created biological weapons to destroy Soviet Union agriculture, and their tick experiments unleashed the Lyme disease epidemic across America. The facility had containment breaches in 1978 and 2004, And when the mysterious Montauk Monster washed up in 2008, it came straight from Plum Island experiments. A whistleblower was fired in 2003 after exposing safety violations to Hillary Clinton's office. After 70 years of operations, they're suddenly shutting down by 2026 and moving to Kansas. What don't they want us to find?
This is Dr. T. I need all y'all to help me. Somebody just tried to kill me, tried to assassinate me. They took me, they called me to help them like I normally do with training staff and clinical staff. Told me they were legit. Told me, oh, we don't have any signs on the place because to protect people's confidentiality. Real issue that they were trying to get me someplace where you couldn't trace where they killed me. It was on 2982 East 61st Street, Cleveland Avenue, 44127. I know that they tried to do this to me because when I tried to call them, the number is scrubbed. So they wouldn't have been able to find out where I went to, and y'all wouldn't have known. So I'm telling you, please post this, man. These people are crazy. I'm telling you, and this is not the first time this happened. I had it where they sent me, I exposed Medicaid fraud, and they sent me to an abandoned building to see a client in an empty building. And I told the FBI and police, and they never did anything. I'm telling you, we got corruption deep here, man. These people tried to kill me today, to kill me. People don't do that shit because you're lying. They do that because you're telling the truth, Dr. T.
Look at what scripture says. By his stripes we are healed. That's in Isaiah 53:5. Come to me, all who are worried and burdened, and I will give you rest. That's in Matthew 11:28. I am the Lord who heals you. Exodus 15:26. Family, there is a balm in Gilead. The answer to Jeremiah's cry is yes. His name is Jesus.
This is it. This is the little town that took my kid because I exposed their witchcraft. Yep, that's what they do. If you expose them, then they take their kids. See, family courts are designed to control people. If you step out and speak the truth like you're not protected by the Constitution. They just take your kid. And then they say, we took your kid. So that's what happens. I exposed this little teeny town for being just pure Masonic witchcraft, and they took my kid.
Street niggas are not genuine at all. They grew up in a survival-based environment, so they don't want to make connections for real. They just want to see what they can get out of people. They're good at analyzing people. They're also good at human psychology, even though they don't study it. They pay attention to body language, mannerisms, just to see if you soft or you an easy lick. They study all this just to see if they can get over on you. All they want to do is see what they can get from you. Nobody is genuine in the streets. They all fake. Think about it. They had to struggle all day life. Their lifestyle is what can I get from others? What can I do to survive? Be careful around street people. They're not regular people. Their minds don't function the same. Street people are narcissists. You know the saying, hurt people hurt people? There is no honor among thieves. A street nigga will snake you without even thinking twice. The people you help often are the ones who hurt you because their loyalty was not to you, it was to their need. Once their problem is solved, they don't see you as a savior. They see you as a reminder of their weakest moment. Rather than acknowledging who lifted them up, they'd rather convince themselves that they climbed there on their own. Helping someone doesn't mean that they'll respect you. It means that they'll resent the fact that they needed you.
It sounds insane, but this is a warning to America and a warning to the rest of the world. I was just put onto something very serious, and the second I heard it, my heart dropped because it made so much sense. But basically, right now on the dark web, organized crime gangs are coming out with a software called 911 spam, and the idea is simple. Basically, they're going to spam 911 lines with different calls like, hey, there's a kidnapping at CVS, hey, there's a shooting at Walmart, hey, at this address there's a home break-in, whatever. And while these calls are all coming into your local 911, they're going to be breaking into a house near you, they're going to be breaking into a jewelry store near you, whatever. 911 won't know what to respond to, and it's absolutely insane. So stay ready, stay prepared. God bless America. Make sure your family and make sure everyone is prepared for this because this AI shit's about to get...
The owners of the world, who's that?
You want me to say who the owners of the world are? This is where everyone starts asking me. I love this, that you would ask me that. I might have to have a cigarette. It makes me nervous to say who they are. First of all, I've been saying it for 30 years, and people, when I tell them, their eyes just go dead because they cannot handle the truth. Remember that Jack Nicholson movie? You can't handle the truth. You don't want it. But it's so obvious that I just will say it. The owners of the world are the royals, kings, queens, dukes, duchesses, imams, popes, wizards that own every single dime on earth and bank at the Bank of International Settlements. That's the owners of the world who decide every war and arm both sides because they make money. They're arms dealers. They're Nazi arms dealers. They also make prisons. They also make, poisons. They're invested in depopulation. The WEF, WHO, all those bullshit things out of the UN, they need to depopulate this planet of useless eaters, which they call us, because they have no place to ride their horsies and conduct their fox hunts or their people hunts or whatever it is they do that we all really know about but ignore. The reason that the vampire stories are so popular, take a look at that too.
Hey, good morning, Dr. T. Getting ready to walk into Mass. Allow Dr. T to educate you with the true origins of these Zionist Luciferian psychopaths. It all goes back to the Bible, baby. When these Jews were in captivity because they continuously rebelled against God, all the prophecies of Jesus are in there, and the Jews deny it. All the prophecies about Jesus being a descendant of David. I mean, Jesus matched all the prophecies perfectly, and these people still crucified him. But it was according to the prophecy because he had to die for the sins of man. You know what I mean? But when they went through these places, these people got seduced with these practices of the Hittites, the Amalekites, the Jebusites in Egypt, which all practiced sacrifices and passing their children through the fire. These rituals involved demonic forces and demons possessing them, because when these demons possessed them, they gave them certain powers, and these powers are elusive and addictive. That's what witchcraft is about and everything, obtaining powers over other human beings. They know how to do this shit. They cast spells and shit, and the only thing is it doesn't work on people who are blood bought. So these Jews then brought these abominable practices back into Judaism, and they secretly practiced them. They would get caught, they would get rid of some of them, then they would hide, and it would always continue to resurface. And the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers are all Luciferians who are possessed by demonic forces that give them information to keep them on top of the world. And they cooperate with these dark forces by keeping with their plan to destroy us and all humanity. And somehow these psychopaths think that they're going to do this, and somehow they're going to make it, and Satan and them are just going to party forever when they're all going to be in hell for eternity. So they're all under a delusion. And this is where all this stuff comes from. This is what all this stuff comes from now. It's a fight against good and evil. It's all these Luciferians fighting for their lives, thinking that they can escape hell by the amount of evil that they do and the amount of sacrifices that they do. That's why they love abortion and they love genocide, because they're trying to bring as many people to hell as humanly possible.
So today, don't look to the crowd. Don't look to the preacher. Don't look to even the church building for healing. Look to the cross. Look to the Savior. He is the balm that restores broken hearts, heals wounds, will heal your wounded soul and bring life where death tried to take over.
Jacoby got discharged around 4 p.m. yesterday. I gave him his 5 p.m. feed, and around like 7:40, he started throwing up. Tried to give him Tylenol. He threw up about 2-3 more times, maybe 4 more times before we were able to get to the hospital. Get to the hospital around like 9. Been waiting in the hospital for like 3 hours. It's now 12:30. We just now getting to the back of the room because I'm calling upstairs for the cardiology department. I'm calling upstairs for peds surgery. Y'all should have some type of, urgency for my baby because he has not eaten since 5 p.m. Why is he still throwing up? And I mean throwing up. When I say throwing up, he's throwing up. What is he throwing up? Why is he sick? But then he's like convulsing, like shaking. And I'm really concerned. And they're acting like, they just brushing it off. That's why I cannot stand hospitals. I'm telling y'all, if it was any way that I wouldn't need to bring my baby to the hospital, I would not at all. I would not bring my baby to no hospital or nothing like that. Because it's just like they do not care about our black kids. Okay, my son is literally, I'm finna show y'all how my son is looking right now. This is what my baby has been doing for the past few hours. Jacoby. Stomach is tender and swollen. He throw up because he done threw up on me a couple times in the waiting room. Jacoby, not really responding to me like he would normally do, and he's shaking. Like, why is he doing that? And has not peed, y'all. His pamper is dry. Okay, since 4 p.m. yesterday, he has not peed, and this is what he's doing. I'm just documenting this for purposes. Yeah, y'all know because this does not make any sense to me. He's shaking. Y'all see him? See what I'm saying? And even the checking person seen it. So still shaking. Jacoby. Hey. Hey, what you doing? Why you keep shaking, baby?
Instead of making memories on Christmas morning with our children and our newborn, we were being accused of child abuse. I'm bringing you another story just like ours. This time it's literally from our backyard, and it's very near and dear to my heart. Their case is even worse than ours, but all the same players involved, same hospital, even same family court judge. So it literally feels parallel, and it's long. I will probably have to do it in 2 parts, but please, please, please listen and share, because what I'm about to tell you is insane and it should be illegal. So please listen and give it some thought. On December 21st, we took our son to his routine doctor's appointment. We had discussed switching formula to soy due to his frequent spit-ups. His sister has a milk allergy, and we assumed maybe he was having the same. His doctor had no concerns about his health, safety, or well-being at this appointment. On Christmas morning, we woke up, we opened presents, and I took a short nap. I woke up to my son crying unconsolably. My husband had just fed him a bottle that he spit most of it up. While he was crying, I noticed a blood spot in his mouth. I showed my husband, and a few seconds later, he immediately called our pediatrician. Being a holiday, we were transferred over to a nursing line at a local children's hospital. They advised us to come in immediately. My husband rushed there while I stayed home with our daughter until my mom could come watch her. When my husband got there, he looked into our son's mouth and the blood was gone, but he decided to stay and make sure everything was all right. During his intake, they undressed my son and found bruises on his arm, torso, and back, asking what caused these. We were unsure, but wanted them to test anyway for things like blood disorders. We asked them to do x-rays and a CT scan. While we were waiting for him to take the tests, a detective came in. He asked if we knew that the nurse had hotlined us. We did not, and he seemed shocked that we were unaware. We did a quick interview, and the police and nurses took our son to do forensic pictures. We were hotlined before any tests were even done to find out what medical issues could be happening with our son. They told us his blood work came back mostly normal. His scans showed no brain bleeds or fracture. They put him on vitamin D drops at the time, telling us that his vitamin D was low, but we were never able to find a vitamin D level in his records. While we were waiting for the test results, we were told that they would be transferring him to their downtown location in Kansas City, Missouri. From this moment, we had nurse babysitters with us at all times and were deemed unsafe to be alone with our 3-week-old baby. Our son was also not going to be discharged until we met with DCFS and a safety plan was created. 3 days later, we met with DCFS and a safety plan was formed. We were able to go home together and have parents as teachers come in as an intervention. Not even an hour later, the social worker called us back to the hospital, denying our safety plan, saying it wasn't good enough for the hospital. We were told that my husband was also no longer allowed at the hospital. So our social worker came up with a new safety plan that the hospital approved of. Our son was discharged to my brother and sister-in-law. I was allowed to stay with my son and my daughter, but my husband was only allowed to come during the day and had to leave at night. My brother and his wife work from home. Their children were also home because it was Christmas break, so we were surrounded by people at all times. Our children were never with us without eyes also on us. In the days that followed, my husband and I had separate interviews with a detective. I mentioned that one of his bruises was in the shape of a seatbelt on his car seat. I was told that that explained one bruise, but not all of them. This should have shown that he bruised easily, and there could have been an underlying condition, but nobody was looking for that. We had another follow-up visit with this hospital on January 9th. During this visit, they did repeat x-rays. We went into the visit full on expecting that we would be in and then it would be over. We were put in a room with another nurse babysitter while we waited for the results. The doctors came in and told us that our son had 2 to 4 fractures on his femur bones. They called it handlebar fractures and told us this is an injury as a result of a non-accidental trauma, and he had been yanked violently. He had no new bruises, especially on his legs. And remember, we were in a house being watched constantly. We were never left alone with our children since bringing them in on Christmas Day. I also have videos of my son doing bicycle kicks just a few days before this. To say we were in shock would be an understatement. My sister-in-law's mother showed up to advocate for us. I made them redo his blood panels to check his vitamin D levels. They told us they were low, but at normal levels. He had been on vitamin D drops since Christmas, so he shouldn't be low in vitamin D at all. I asked them what his levels were before, and they had no record of the levels at all. They told us then that we could continue using the drops. We asked about OI, or brittle bone disease, at the time, and they told us they ruled it out due to bruising. The hospital told me it was likely a new broken bone since the first x-ray did not show it, but they couldn't be sure. They also told me it's possible it's bone growth and not a fracture at all. We have a voice recording of this. They sent us down to do blood work and a CT scan, but I believe this was to buy them time to hotline us yet again. By the time we came back up, DCFS and police were waiting. Again, this was before any results came back from any tests. We did our third interview with the detectives. We stressed to the doctors and the police who came to interrogate us that there had to be something medically going on. We had abided by our safety plan and had not been with our children alone, and there was no traumatic event to suggest these injuries. The hospital told them that we had not followed our safety plan. I'm going to pause this part now and go to part 2, so please watch. But I want you to think about, I keep hearing mandated reporters talk about how it's not their fault. They just report suspected abuse, and then it's a DCFS's job to do the rest of the investigation. But in this story, the hospital continues to insert themselves as the investigator, yet they won't investigate underlying medical conditions. So make that make sense to me. Please come back for part. This is part 2 of the story about a family on Christmas Day. Instead of making memories with their newborn, their 2 children, they were being accused of child abuse by a local children's hospital. Okay, where we left off, these parents are trying to stress that there's something medically going on with their son to be causing signs of fractures and bruising, but the hospital refuses to look into it and just says they ignored their safety plan and obviously have been abusing their child. The police asked the doctors if this could have happened on Christmas. They were trying very hard to fit Christmas Day into the narrative, saying that it could have happened then. Our son was then taken into police custody and an emergency hearing was scheduled. On January 12th, both of our children were taken into state's custody and placed with my mom and my stepmom and dad. This placement caused unnecessary stress on my entire family in an already stressful situation. The children were placed in an environment where my dad and stepmom would fight and yell at each other constantly. My son was placed in a swing that did not fit him at 5 weeks old. I was called and told that my daughter kept wetting her bed and that this was a real problem for them, ignoring the fact that she was going through a stressful situation. At this time, they told me my son cried all the time and spit up constantly. We did video calls with our daughter every night. She would be sobbing, asking to be brought home, and we couldn't tell her what was going on legally because she was a witness. To start off, we were only allowed to see our children 1 hour a week. I know that. They moved this to 2 hours a week shortly after, but my son was only 5 weeks old. We were still in postpartum, and our little best friend, our daughter, was begging us in tears every night. I'm writing this because this caused her the most trauma, and she still talks about it 3 years later. My dad and stepmom took our son for a follow-up with the same hospital on January 23rd, a third bone scan. We, the parents, were not allowed to attend this follow-up, or any medical visits for that matter. We were not even allowed to be on the phone or request second opinions. My dad and stepmom reported that they did not see any fractures at all in the bone scan, and the medical document stated that irregularities of the bones could represent healing fractures. No further follow-up was needed. The doctor even expressed surprise to my dad that they couldn't find any fractures in the scans. Same thing happened to us, exactly. Throughout our visitation, we reported to the case manager that our son was feeling lighter. We also told them that he would turn red under normal, careful holding and pointed out that he was still bruising. She documented all of this. On February 1st, we went to our supervised visit and noticed our son looked visibly sick, weighed less, had a sunken fontanelle, and he was just fragile. We urged my dad and stepmom to take him to the doctor instead of waiting until his next doctor's appointment. My son was then diagnosed with pyloric stenosis, vomiting, and dehydration. He had an emergency surgery the very next day. We, the parents, were not allowed to be there. It's important to note that despite the medical exams, multiple of them, scans, labs, and observations, his condition was somehow missed. We raised red flags at every doctor's appointment we had prior to them being taken away, and to the caseworker after they were removed. A few weeks later, he started gaining weight. His color was back, and he was looking healthier. We also told the caseworker that we were no longer seeing bruises. This did not trigger the kids to be returned home because the hospital refused to acknowledge that this could have been the reasoning behind the bruises and the fractures, if the fractures existed at all. We were told by KVC, which is an arm of DCFS at the time, that it took time for our kids to come back and needed to be more comfortable with us as a family. I would like to note that in every visitation, the workers we met with would tell us they had no concerns and didn't believe we abused our kids. But we were also told that it just takes time. At this time, DCFS substantiated child abuse by an unknown perpetrator, exactly our case. On March 23rd, we were both arrested at work for aggravated endangerment. This caused us to lose contact with our children altogether until the bond conditions were lifted. Our 4-year-old sobbed each night, asking why we forgot her and why we were not calling like we had been. A week later, our lawyers got the bond condition lifted, and we were to have supervised contact only. This means we could not be out of sight with the children at any time. We were able to have more visitations, but my dad and stepmom paused those. They told KVC that they were at capacity. This is when the children started going over to my brother's house on the weekend for respite. We asked KVC if we could put our daughter in therapy, but at the time, we were denied. It took our lawyer asking specifically why for our worker to agree to let us set her up therapy appointments. That's disgusting. Our supervised visitation bond conditions were lifted in May. We started doing the kids' bedtime routines on the weekends and were allowed to be all day long. We were moved to monitor visits in May and told on multiple occasions that there were no safety concerns. KVC finally started listening to our concerns with placement at the end of May and moved the kids permanently to my brother and sister-in-laws. We were immediately given daily visitations. A month later, we were moved to unsupervised visits and were able to pick the kids up from daycare. We were also allowed to do overnights at my brother's house on the weekends. Our kids were reintegrated right before our daughter started kindergarten. From there, we fought the state for custody. KVC Aftercare told us from day one that she believed us and that she had no concerns whatsoever. It took our lawyers threatening a recusal of the judge a few months later for the courts to finally release our case. Bottom line, our son had malnutrition and a life-threatening condition that was missed on 3 separate visits to this gold standard children's hospital. They did not protect our children, they caused them more trauma. My daughter still has after effects, and she is now 7. She does not like being away from us, even for a few hours. She still has meltdowns before school because she doesn't want us to leave. This is something we're working through with her therapist. Every time we worked with KVC, we were told they had no concerns, but they just needed time. Time we'll never get back with our young daughter and our newborn. We missed important milestones, all because of a medical misdiagnosis that no one can admit they were wrong about. How many of these stories do I have to read for people to get up in arms? Because I've got thousands. But I can't believe this is happening to this many people, especially in Kansas. Be careful who you trust with your
These children are not just kidnapped and in some cases bred by families as a cash crop. We have people in the United States of America that breed children in order to sell them. And when they are sold, they come without birth certificates, which means it's easier to kill them and have no one ask where they are. We're also importing children by the plane load. Again, children who have no documentation. It's not just child slavery or child sex abuse. It's also child torture because you have adrenalized blood. You have the whole blood drinking ceremony of the satanic world. It's also the use of children for harvesting body organs. And then you have ritual ceremonies and ritual murder, as well as incidental murder. Most organizations that end up being used to prey on children, Oxfam is a recent example, all of the United Nations organizations, the Boy Scouts of America, all of the child services agencies across the United States of America, they did not start out as organizations to prey on children, but they attract pedophiles. And ultimately, pedophiles end up rising in the ranks and controlling those organizations, so that an organization that initially started out in the service of children becomes an organization that is in fact hunting children.
I knew Christ was a black man, but I kept preaching white Jesus because it kept the money coming. We skipped Deuteronomy 28 on purpose. If y'all knew who you were, school would lose control. They paid us to push murder music to your sons, then built prisons to catch the fallout. I knew your vote didn't matter. The real power ain't in ballots, it's in bloodlines. Ties was never about God. It was about control. We kept you loyal, broke, and blind. We trained to fear black men, even in neighborhoods they grew up in. It's not protection, it's war. They test medicine on y'all before they ever try it on them. Y'all the guinea pigs.
They told us to push college loans, not purpose. Keep y'all in debt, not destiny.
Y'all heard it from their own mouths, religion, schools, cops, doctors, labels. But the truth, we the chosen, and we waking up now.
Do you believe in life after delivery?
Yeah, there has to be something after delivery. Maybe we're here to prepare ourselves for what's to come next. I mean, what kind of life would that be? Well, maybe there's going to be more light than in here. Maybe we're going to walk with our legs and eat from our mouths. I mean, we all know that walking is impossible. And eating from our mouths, I mean, we have our umbilical cord that is supplying us all the nutrition that we need. But maybe it's a different kind of life, you know, a life where we don't need this cord anymore. Okay, so if life after delivery exists, why has no one ever come back from it? Well, I don't know. At least Mother will be there and she'll take care of us. You believe in Mother. So if Mother exists, then where is she now? She's all around us. We're surrounded by her. We are of her. I mean, without Mother, you and me, we would not exist. Well, I don't see her, so it's only logical that she doesn't exist. Sometimes if you sit in silence and you really listen, you can hear her loving presence just talking down from above.
Why is it so hard for people to understand that your breakthrough in life may not have anything to do with a vision or plan that you came up with? Your breakthrough in life, I mean your biggest breakthrough in life, may just be tied into somebody else's vision and somebody else's plan. Some of you all are sitting in front of your friends and family members watching them build, and you have no idea that they have full access to your breakthrough. But because it's not your vision and it's not your plan, you just simply refuse to serve them. But by the time you do decide to join in and help, because you've now realized that the work they've been putting in and that their plan and vision is actually working, your help is no longer needed. Let's stop joining in to celebrate people when the world starts. And we already knew who these people were way before the world even knew who they were. Before I became an entrepreneur, before I even began to get my life off the ground, I loved serving other people. It just brought joy to my heart being in the presence of people who were doing better than me. Because I know that when God is somewhere in the neighborhood, he can knock at any door at any given time. Mine can be next. And that's just what happened.
How damaged someone is until you try to love them. Shit, love has a way of revealing hidden wounds, both in others and ourselves. Some people bleed in silence and then call it strength. Not everyone pushes you away because they don't care. Some do it because they scared you will. Yeah, people who've learned how to survive don't always know how to receive love. They didn't build walls to keep you out. They built them to survive what came before you. Sometimes the person most deserving of love be the one who believes they don't. You think you've been rejected, but really, they just trying not to bleed on you. You can love them with everything you had, but if they don't love themselves, they'll never believe you. It's not that they don't feel, it's that they feel too much and they buried it so deep that they forgot where it lives. You can hold their hands, but you can't carry their healings. So like I said, you never know how damaged someone is until you try to love them.
Ever notice how the world drains the people who feel the deepest, the ones with soft hearts that carry the heaviest loads, not because they're weak, but because they refuse to become what hurt them? See, what we don't talk about enough is the emotional tax of being good in a selfish world. You show up with love, they show up with agendas. You give to build, they take to survive. It's like being fluent in a language that no one wants to understand anymore. You speak soul, they speak convenience. And then you're left wondering, is there something wrong with me? No, there's something right with you. But right doesn't always feel rewarding at first. The truth is having a good heart comes with consequences. You will be underestimated. You will be misused. You will be overlooked by people who confuse your peace with passivity. But here's the real gut check. Stop expecting people with shallow intentions to handle your heart like it's sacred. It's not their job to protect it. It's your job to guard it without guilt. So no, don't stop loving. Don't stop caring. But stop letting your love be the lesson for people who refuse.
Feelings hurt because you assume that just because you're genuine, everybody else is. You're looking at the world from the lens of your own pure heart, and that's beautiful to a degree. And this is why people who are genuine, trustworthy, loyal, and pure in heart need to practice discernment. This is why the Bible tells us to be gentle as doves, but wise as serpents, simply because you are a sheep amongst wolves, okay? When you're a sheep, you can go throughout life moving without any motives. You really just moving through life freely because you know that you're showing up genuine as you are. But there's a lot of people dressed up in sheep's clothing when inwardly they're wolves. But you fall for that. You get lied to because you think everybody's honest because you're honest. You get played because you think everybody's loyal because you're loyal. You get deceived because you think everybody's genuine because you're genuine. The world is not like how you are. And the sooner you realize that, you got to meet people as they are and be who you are with the lens of boundaries, with the understanding that as soon as you find out that this person is being who they are, you got to take it at face value and then choose right then and there whether or not you have capacity to handle who they are instead of painting a picture of who they have the potential to become. That's when you will stop getting your feelings hurt. That's when you'll stop feeling like you need to stop being genuine. You need to stop being pure. You need to stop being loyal because nobody else is doing it like you doing it. You have this resentment now. You have this bitterness now because you've been the only one showing up loyal and honest and trustworthy and all these things. But the reality is you don't ever need to stop being genuine. You don't ever need to stop showing up pure. You don't ever need to stop showing up as you are. You just need to be mindful that you are you, they are them. And then you need to develop the understanding that you're going to meet a handful of people that can match your loyalty, that can match your love, that can match your purity and your genuine heart. And you have to hold on tight to those people. They will reveal themselves. But the wolves that are dressed in sheep's clothing will also reveal themselves too. But don't wear your heart on your sleeve so much that you get deceived by the wolf in sheep's clothing. You allow them to consume you. You have to guard your heart above all things. The Bible says, for out of it flows the issues of life. The issues of life are rooted in deception. The issues of life are rooted in heartbreak. Issues of life are rooted in unforgiveness and bitterness and anger because you haven't guarded your heart. You might be full of love, fully genuine, fully kind, fully you, but it doesn't mean the rest of the world is. This means you have to protect what is holy. You have to protect what is sacred. And you cannot assume that just because you're showing up as you are, that everybody else is. 9 times out of 10, they are not. But don't start turning off your love or your loyalty or your trustworthiness or your genuineness or anything that makes you you, simply because you feel like you can't find you in the world. The world is looking for you. But you just have to be aware of who is looking for you. Is it a wolf in sheep's clothing? Or are you amongst other sheep who you can feel safe amongst? Are you amongst shepherds who can protect you and who can take care of you when you get to blissfully be? Because if you're not, you're going to get consumed every single time. You are too genuine to not have discernment. You are too loyal to not guard your heart. You are too kind to just be around anybody. Because wisdom says, while I am love, while I am light, while I can pour into people, I'm not going to cast my pearls before swine. I'm not going to shine my light in places that want to be dark. Because if you ever turn on a light switch in a room where people were comfortable sleeping, they will rebuke you and they will be pissed at you for turning on a light in a place that they were comfortable being dark in. I'm saying all this to say, ain't nothing wrong with being good, genuine, loyal, kind. You don't get hurt because you're genuine, loving, or kind. You get hurt because you need to practice better boundaries, better discernment, and stop believing you're going to find yourself in other people. You're going to find people in who they are. And when you find them in what they are and who they are, then you get to make the decision of if you can love them as they are and not who they have the potential to become.
So I ask you today, the same like Jeremiah asked, is there no balm in Gilead? Yes. There is, and his name is Jesus.
Jesus, 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 Jesus does this. Jesus, Jesus. I love how you love me, Father. I love how you cover me, Lord.